This is going to be off the rails. Just a warning. So I got to the bathroom. Everything came out fine. All went well. Oh, let me at least close this. Well, no, because I want the light. Sorry, I haven't put my contacts in, so there's going to be a glare on mis ojos, but I want to be able to see what you guys say when and if you choose to join us. So, I got myself upstairs. That was an adventure. I was able to do it with just the cane. How about that? And yeah, went to the bathroom, got upstairs, put my glasses on. Oh, and most importantly, did you know? So this cup. Oh, hey, I aim to please, Judy, and I was going for a record. How about that? There's Cynthia, there's Renee, there's Manuela, there's Donna. So, incidentally, this cup is from Lagoon, our local amusement park here in Utah. And one of the people that I watch, hi Christine, that I watch here on YouTube, his name is Adam the Woo. I've been watching him for years and years. He's been vlogging for years and years. Anyway, he's in Utah right now. Hi, Dennis. Dennis, am I okay? Dennis, that is, I mean, are we talking physically or existentially? You gotta specify. You gotta qualify that question. I haven't seen you for a while, Dennis, so you might not know. First, let me finish the thought. Adam the Woo's been in Utah, and he went to our amusement park, Lagoon. And he had a great time. Anyway, I loved watching it. It was so much fun. Well, Dennis, my darling, it's so good to have you here, Dennis, by the way. How have you been? Oh, that's so good. So, I haven't seen you in a while, Dennis, so you might not know, but I had another dramatic catastrophe. Because, of course, I did, Dennis. You know this. You've been with us forever. I do feel like we have an on and off kind of relationship, but anyway, sorry, also just barely took my allergies and they haven't quite kicked in yet. Dennis, I had an accident. Because of course I did. You know me, my feet, my ankles, they are, well, they do what they can. They do their best. But out in the front yard, I have a pile of rocks because we took down the rock wall along the driveway, Dennis, and we're going to be putting a fence up, which once we can agree on which fence we want to put up and all of us be happy about it, and then of course pay for it. So we took down the rock wall. And so we shared a lot of rocks with other people and stuff, but the majority of the rocks, they're in a pile, a couple of piles in the front yard. And and so they're in this pile, all right? And up on top of the pile is what's left of the tree stump. You remember the big tree in the front yard where I would hang like skeletons and bats at Halloween, not just any time. Anyway, so hi Alviance, I'm so glad you're here. Hi Miss T. So we chopped down that tree this last year. Who? Your mom. My mom is here. What's she doing here? Oh, well, tell her I'm on a live stream, but if she wants to come in, she can come in. Anyway, so, oh yeah, she was bringing the taco stuff for Lulu. Yeah, Lulu's happy. My mom makes the best damn tacos you guys have ever had in your life. But anyway, where was I? Oh, the tree. So we chopped down the tree, Dennis. We got that down because it was messing up the foundation. Sorry, you're getting a long story for what happened to me. These are the things that happen. So the tree, the stump is still there, and there's a pot on it. Hi, Mama. Thanks for bringing that for her. Oh, yeah, kick all those things out of the way. Reggie, you're going to break my mom's foot, and it's bad enough mine's already ruined. Guys, say hi to my mama. This is, she gave me life. She gave me life. So
it's my fault.
So, yeah, it is. I love you. Thanks for bringing that. Where are you headed? Jose's or what?
No, I'm headed home.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got milk and butter.
Oh, milk. Oh, go. Thanks for bringing that for her, though. Sure. You're so sweet. So nice to do that for her. We had a whole talk about the, are those her clothes?
Oh, yes, that was the other thing.
We had a whole talk about how you have the most amazing tacos. God, the most amazing tacos. Well, and she said she added sauce to them, and I said, that's a travesty. How dare you?
Oh, it's...
Because I don't even add ranch, and I add ranch to everything. I won't add ranch to those. They don't need it. They're perfect.
Well, this is different. It's a different kind.
Oh, it's not the ones I grew up with?
No.
Oh, well, then I can't vouch for that.
Yeah.
But all right, I love you. Thank you. What a lucky treat. You guys got to see my mama. But anyway, mark this day in your lives, right? Huh? Oh, Dennis, so you do know. And there's Lightning Anna. Hello there, my darling. Oh, we got things to talk about, Lightning. We got some to talk about. So Dennis, so then do you know what happened? Well, for those that don't, and because I already started the story, and once I started, you know. So listen, guys, you're thinking, why is she going 1,000,000 miles an hour? It's because I haven't had my coffee. I know that sounds weird and seems strange, but when you have severe ADHD, until you've had your stimulant, you're going 800 miles an hour. Yeah, you guys are like, no coffee. You're gonna be even crazier. No. The coffee will actually level this down. It'll level this down. That's why I rarely approach you guys when I haven't had my coffee. Okay? Just please trust me. So anyway, I'm out on the rock pile because there's a big pot on top of the stump. And it used to have strawberries in it. I took the strawberries out and I put in a bunch of the Scarlet Morning Glories. And then I have those green steaks that I found in a residential garbage. Okay, see, Sandy knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's actually the treatment for ADHD is stimulants. There's people that are naughty with them that don't have ADHD and they, you know, it's like speed essentially. But for those of us with this kind of brain, the stimulants actually, it's like fighting fire with fire, you know? Renee, I will look. I saw that you had messaged me. I will take a look at that when we're done here. Thank you for reminding me. Rachel, my love, here we are. Here we are. Yeah, it's crazy town, okay? It's crazy town. But if you can handle that and if that works for you, then I'm here for you. Yes, Dennis, no. Oh my God, this is the real thing, okay? Before my medication, this is what you get. And this is me every day. Can you imagine living with this? Good Lord. So anyhow, so there's the pot and hi Tracy. And so I put these other flowers. I also put nasturtiums in there from seed. Okay. And, well, I don't know about the morning glories though. I might have transplanted those. God, I don't know. But anyway, so those steaks that I found in someone's garbage on garbage day on the side of the road, residential, okay? So I put those in there. And this was, let's see. Oh, happy birthday, Phyllis. Happy 69. Good for you. Oh, wonderful. Bravo. Mazel tov. Belinda understands the ADHD. So, but already just having had half a cup of coffee, I can already feel like the nah. Yeah, it's real, guys. It's a real condition. I'm just very high functioning with it. Most of the time. So anyhow, those green steaks that I pulled out of someone's garbage on the side of the road on garbage day. So I took 3 of them. Hello, Alfie, my love. Going clubbing. You be careful out there. You be safe. You watch out for all those, because there's people out there. You be careful, kiddo. So anyhow, yeah, and there's Colin Edom. Hello. So yeah, I put those steaks in there because the idea I had was to build a wigwam. That's what Monty Don calls them, but essentially a tripod. That just doesn't sound. How does that even sound? Tripod? That doesn't sound pretty. Anyway, so wigwam. Okay, please allow me some cultural appropriation there. So I was building a wigwam, and there's Stephanie. Hello. So I was building this wigwam, and I had put the stakes in, and I was wearing Crocs. Listen, I love my Crocs. You guys know. See, already I feel it. Do you feel it coming down? Feel it? See, I can feel like my whole body even starting to. Yeah, it's magic. But anyhow, I was wearing my Crocs, and I love Crocs. No complaint to Crocs. Hi, Barbara. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Oh, I'll tell her she said that. Stephanie, you've got the high caffeine tolerance. Yeah, it's this. But anyhow, so Crocs, there's a time and there's a place for Crocs. Okay? Hi, Shatika, my love. There's a time and a place. And on an unsteady pile of rocks, which I do mean to eventually fashion into a thing, a beautiful rock garden, a kind of an alpine scene. I I haven't done that yet, and I'm not sure when I will. But with plenty of, as Renee says, nectar of the gods and some time for recovery, I will eventually do it. But anyway, so I'm in my Crocs. God help me. I was in my Crocs, and I put the stakes in. And guys, I was being so careful, okay? For real. On the way up the pile of rocks, I was so careful. I was. Oh, there's a strap like a sandal. Until they, but Stephanie, until they have traction on the bottom, I don't know that it matters having a strap. I don't know. Have you seen the ones where there's high heels? What the hell is that about? I don't know who would come up with such madness. But anyway, so I was so careful on the way up, and I put the stakes in. I did my thing. I was so careful. Then I turn around, and I'm coming back down the pile. We're coming down the mountain, very Jack and Jill style. And I was doing great. I was looking at the rocks. I was paying attention to my feet. But then a stray thought caught me. And I started thinking, and I can multitask, okay? Yeah, I didn't have it in sports mode. Cynthia, how are you doing, Cynthia? Are you feeling it? Are you bruised? How are you doing? I've been thinking about you. I've had so many, fender benders and bumper benders and people hitting into me and stuff like that. How are you doing? I hope you're okay. Chiropractor was the best thing that for me after that, and massage. But anyway, but I've been thinking about you. So I don't know if you guys know, but Cynthia had quite a to-do. Her and I both. God, the luck has not been there. Except we're still alive and we have loving families. So I guess we've won the lottery. But anyway, I'm on my way back down from the mountain of rocks, and a stray thought snuck into my concentration, and for whatever reason, I looked back at the pot and was contemplating, do I want to actually make the wigwam and tie it at the top, tie those 3 stakes together, or do I want to just have 3 stakes with flowers growing up them? And I started having this very intense contemplation about the 2 different possibilities. Why? It would have been okay. It's okay to have a deep contemplation about such a thing, okay? But the problem was I was thinking about that and my feet kept moving. If I would have stopped where I was, contemplated the benefits of either option, we would have been fine. This would have been a whole different situation, and this last almost 2 weeks would have been a whole different 2 weeks. I'd be scaling mountains by now, real mountains. Alas, my feet kept moving while I was thinking about the thing. I hit one loose rock. Game over. Game over, man. Game over. What movie is that from? Oh, I'm going to give you a hint. It's Bill Paxton, rest in peace. But that's a Bill Paxton line from an amazing movie that I love. Game over, man. Anyhow, I slipped. Well, the rock moved. That was under my right foot. And my left leg, I don't know if I don't think I've mentioned this on any of my channels, but I really injured my left leg too. My right foot got destroyed, but my left leg got, no, not Twister. Try again, Renee, try again. Yeah, but that's a good movie too. Aliens, yes! Thank you, Judy. Judy, I always knew we had a connection. I always knew we had a connection. Chicken salad? That depends, Dennis. Does it have like mayonnaise and stuff? Mama doesn't do mayonnaise. The only form of mayonnaise I will ever have is my ranch dressing, and it has to be Hidden Valley. That's a very specific thing. So anyhow, my left leg, it got hyperextended and all stretched out funny as I'm falling. But all of my focus was on my foot, because my right foot, so here we are, pretend these are my feet. So here's my right foot. If I was standing and my foot went like this. Now my whole leg obviously didn't, but my foot went like this. All the way over. Me too, Judy. Isn't it wonderful? Get away from her, you bitch. Sorry, guys, but it's a line. It's an iconic line in the movie. And that's mama love right there. Even adoptive mama love. Nope, not Titanic. It's Aliens. So not the first Alien, not that one, but the Jim Cameron Aliens. Yeah, good stuff. Just as good, if not better, I think, than Ridley Scott with Alien. But that's another conversation for another day. And that might get tricky. So anyway, oh, thank you, Cynthia. And congrats on not being a zombie anymore. I understand. With the meds, they mess you up, Cynthia. They do. I know. That's why I've been doing everything I can to stay away from the pain meds and all that kind of thing for the last several years. The pain meds I used to be on. I think you know that. I think we've talked about that. But anyway, so my foot went all the way like this. I'm on my ass on the ground. My left leg is off over here somewhere. And really, I pulled several muscles in that leg. But that wasn't the focus, like in the hospital or any of that, because the pain of my foot was so much greater. So I'm there on the floor, on the ground, and I'm on my own. My phone, hello, Alyssa. My phone was on the side of the house because I'd been gardening all morning. I was having the most amazing morning. I'm gardening. I'm having a great time. You and me both, Dennis. If I make it to 69, good God, that would be weird and amazing. Hopefully, I'll still be walking if I'm around that long. But my phone is over on the side of the house. I'm on the floor. I'm on the ground. But I have lungs, which is interesting because I'm severely asthmatic. I think many of you know that. Yet, boy, can I holler. I can holler, and the whole world will hear me, including the dead and beloved. But so I'm like, all right, who am I going to yell for? What am I going to do? And there was like 5 seconds on the ground where I didn't feel anything. No pain, just like shock. You guys know how that is. Just shock, then panic. And once the panic hit and got going, that's when the pain came. Isn't that funny how that works? When, oh, Renee, stop it. There comes Renee with a Canadian $1.49 and a black cat. God, Renee, seriously. Sometimes I wonder about my luck. We all know I am like the clumsiest, klutziest, because when am I not hurt? You know, there's these brief respites, little respites in my life, but usually I'm broken in one way or another. Up here, almost always. So anyhow, there were a few seconds where I didn't feel anything, but just disbelief that I was there on the ground. Then it was panic, and it was the thoughts that were running through my head. Sorry, you guys are getting this whole rundown, but we started. I can't stop it. All these thoughts running through my head of all the plans that were ruined, all these things that we had wanted to do, all this stuff we wanted to do, and now we wouldn't be able to. All the summer plans, all this guilt and beating myself up like, you were doing so good with ding, ding, ding. And then, of course, here you go and do this dumb thing. It's for the cat. Renee. I'll let her know. We'll talk about the cat. She's a nut, that cat. We'll talk about her later. But, I love that freaking cat. So, yeah, Sigourney Weaver, come on now. My goodness. Oh, she is the one. So Judy, yes. Someday I'm going to get the action figure of her in the mover, the big yellow, anyway, freight loader thing. So anyhow, I'm on the ground and I start having all these thoughts like, it's the end of the world. It is the end of the world. I had just gotten back to hiking. We're doing this year. I'm not traveling this summer because we're going to finish the freaking Wonderland garden. We're going to this, we're going to that. Mama's going to get back on the healthy track. You know, we've been making progress in the digestive health journey. And you know, Mama's going to start back on a sort of keto, or at least start getting healthy and all this. And in that second, that just split second, ruined. Everything ruined. And that's what's going through my mind is, everything's ruined. It's ruined. It's over. Game over. Game over. But of course, with all of that panic comes the pain. And once the pain takes over, nothing else matters. Hikes, gardens, adventures, screw that. Those are all forgotten. You don't care about anything except stopping the pain, which is easier when you're not panicking. But unfortunately, once that pain, if you've been through, you know, some severe pain in your life, you know what I'm talking about. It takes your breath away. You can't breathe. You can't focus. You can't think. You can't de-escalate. You can't calm yourself. And yet, the more you freak out and hyperventilate and panic, the more your body tightens up and tenses, and the more violently you feel the pain. It's so frustrating that our bodies, with all the evolution that they've gone through to get rid of tails and appendixes and stuff, almost, that our bodies have not figured that part out. Okay, because when you're panicking, everything's worse. So anyhow, I'm trying to think, what do I do? I can't get to my phone. I can't get up. What am I going to do? So I take some deep breaths and then I start yelling. First I yelled for Reagan because usually he's the first one to hear me and come running. But then I was like, wait a minute. Reagan is in the office because I'm out in the front yard. Reagan's in the office at the back of the house. He's on the computer. He's dead to the world. He's not going to hear anything. Hi, Donette. Hello. I don't know if we've met, but welcome. It's nice to meet you. Hello, Sabrina. How are you? I love that name. Sabrina. Well, and Renee, once you've hurt your ankles, you got to go through some serious physical therapy or be wearing like ankle braces all the time because they're done. They're once they've been hurt, it's only a matter of time before they're hurt again. But anyway, so I start hollering for Reagan and then remembered he's in the office. He's not going to hear me. So then I just start hollering for anybody. And I knew I needed Olivia because she's, muscles, and she was the only one that would even remotely be able to get this thing off the ground and hopefully into the house. I knew we had crutches, but I knew they were up in the attic. And I couldn't wait while someone tried to get up in the attic and find the crutches. I needed to get into the house. And I didn't have my water with me. I didn't have my phone. So anyway, I'm hollering and hollering. It felt like 8 years, but really it was, I was not out there on the ground for more than 2 minutes. Okay. I really wasn't. My kids are amazing. They drive me crazy, but man, they're good kids. So there they all come. There they all come. And they think I got stung. Some of you know I have a long history of very severe reactions and near-death experiences of the anaphylactic variety with Hymenoptera, wasps, hornets, all of that. Okay. Oh, you've never been on the lives, Donette? Well, you have made my day. You caught a live. You did. And I apologize that I have not noticed your name before, but I love it. Donette. The sky was blue and Donette was true. Oh, you even got a poem, a really bad one, but yeah, Dennis, if you're going to contemplate, stand still. Don't move. Lesson learned. Sorry, Dennis, that's not getting you out of the story. We're still going. So what you guys are getting today is the culmination of almost 2 weeks of Mama trying not to go insane. Okay? Trying not to go insane. Stuck mostly in the house. So anyway, the kids come out. They think I got stung, And so where'd you get stung? I'm like, no, I didn't get stung. And then I pointed down to my foot. And already it's turning purple and there's this mound on my foot. Not my ankle, but my foot. Oh, thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate that. I paid for that smile. Worked several years at McDonald's as a teenager to pay for braces for that smile. But anyhow, I even still have like burn scars from the flippin' fries. I was at the fry station all the time. I was the queen of the French fries. But anyway, so, excuse me. So there's already this mound on my foot. And so I was like, just get me in the house. And so together, some of them are moving stuff out of the way and then others are lifting me. And, luckily they're muscles. And plus I was still in enough shock with enough adrenaline running, pumping to be able to somewhat help hobble myself into that. We got up the porch stairs, then up over the threshold. They got me to the couch and oh my God, they got me onto the couch and I just, I have been trying, especially the last few years, to not freak out in front of my kids. If there's bad news or if I'm in a lot of pain or if there's this or there's that, I try to keep, my emotions, my volume in check because I know it's so traumatic for kids to see their parents hurt or upset. It's really traumatic for them, and I've been trying, but I'll tell you, they got me in and onto the couch, and I mean, I couldn't breathe for the pain. So I'm just screaming and hollering and crying and shaking, and you know, it was bad. And I'm trying to think, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And so one of them went and got my phone from the side of the house. It was out there, and they brought it to me, and I'm trying in the midst of all this pain to think what to do. So I had the kids get me, I had them help me to the safe, because I knew I had some Norco for emergencies in the safe, okay? And so they helped me. Oh, and I had one of them run down and get one of my canes. I have like 3 or 4 canes. Mama's had lots of knee problems. One of them went and got one of my canes, and then they helped me get to the safe in the hallway. You guys know we have that big, ginormous safe. It came with the house. We get over there. I got a Norco and some ibuprofen. I know I'm not supposed to take ibuprofen anymore because of the gastritis in my stomach, but guys, those situations. So I took an 800 of ibuprofen and a Norco 10 is what they are. I got those meds. They got me back to the couch. Someone got my water from somewhere, and I took those meds. They got ice. My kids, I mean, they are my pit crew, okay? One of them got ice for me from the freezer. We elevated my foot. All of this happened within 5 minutes. Someone got my cane. They helped me get to the safe. They got my water. They got ice. They got my foot elevated. I took the meds. All of this is within 5 minutes. And anyway, so we get my foot elevated. I take the meds, and I'm telling myself, just hang in there till the meds kick in. You know, you're right, Cynthia. They're amazing. My babies are amazing. They're not perfect, okay? They're not perfect, but they are amazing kids. So I'm trying to wait for the pain meds to kick in, because, you know, Norco with an 800 of ibuprofen, that's a pretty strong little cocktail there. But do you know, it wasn't doing anything. I couldn't get on top of the pain. And you guys know, once the pain gets on top of you, it's too big, it's too much. That's a terrifying place. It's a terrifying place where you're at the point of, you know, almost hoping you'll just pass out because the pain is that much. And the lump on my foot is like growing, and I had this fear that something was going to poke through. I was like, for sure I've broken something, because it was well, hold on, Cynthia, I'll tell you about that too. It was just growing, and I thought for sure there was like bones trying to stab out of there. Yeah, luckily they didn't. Cynthia, rum actually is my go-to, and that didn't happen till the day after. medicinal rum. But anyway, so I'm crying, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, and the kids are scared. They don't know what to do. And I thought, Olivia's going to go call 911. I don't want her to, because I just need to wait for these meds to kick in. And then she's like, no, I'm going to call Dad. And I'm like, well, no, let me call Daddy. And, we'll see. And so I called James, and he was at work, and he answered right away. And I was like, I broke my foot, and he's helping me try to breathe, because I couldn't. You guys know when you're in that place and you're just panicked out of your gourd. So he's trying to talk me down as he's telling, some of his associates that he's got to go. And he's like, I'll be there in like 5 minutes. And I was like, but I don't know what to do, because you're not going to be able to get me out to the car. I'm not the svelte woman that he married anymore. And, he's not going to be able to get me out there. I cannot walk. And the pain was just too much. It was too much. He's like, no, I'll get there. I'll take you to the hospital. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to call the ambulance. I can't do this. So I hung up with him. He was on his way. And I was like, that's it. Forget it. And we've probably met our max out of pocket anyway, dealing with all my other, because I've had a colonoscopy, I've had an upper endoscopy, and all of that this year. You guys know that stuff's so freaking expensive. And gratefully, we have really good medical insurance, especially for here in the US of A. So yeah, Andrea, right? Tracy, I will keep that in mind. Jägermeister for the spasms. I will keep that in mind, my dear. So anyhow, I'm just like, this is enough. I can't do this. I can't do this on my own, and James and I are not going to be able to do this. And this is some of the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I've given birth to 3.5 babies, so, yikes. But, I'm the frugal mama, and so, of course, the cost factor always has to come up. Even in those moments of such intense pain and panic, you still have to consider, wait, now the cost. But I was quite certain we had met our max out of pocket for the year, and it turns out we have, so hallelujah. So you guys know, an ambulance ride, incidentally, I don't know if you know this holds true here in the U.S. I don't know about anywhere else, but the paramedics and the fire department, all of them, they don't charge you for coming to your house. They will come and check you out, and take your blood pressure and consult with you, and that's free. That comes out of your taxes. Okay, that's a public service. They will come to your house, and it doesn't cost you anything. So if you're ever worried enough that you're thinking, I need paramedics, it doesn't cost you to have them come check you out. Doesn't cost. Now, once they start putting anything into you or getting you onto a stretcher, the second they put something in your arm, an IV, that starts costing, okay? Just so you know. And then, of course, transportation. And you guys, a lot of you, I'm sure, know that the cost of transport in an ambulance, holy cow, America has got to get some stuff fixed. We all know this. Our medical situation is a joke and a travesty and an embarrassment. Yeah, Cynthia, yeah. They will come and check you out. They will take your blood pressure. They'll test your O2 sats, your heart rate, all that. They'll do that for free. That's all included in your taxes as a public service, okay? Part of our infrastructure. But it's once they start treating you, that's when it changes. So anyhow, I was like, that's it, enough. Screw the finances. I can't handle this. But I was also pretty sure we had met our max out of pocket. So if we hadn't, would I have called the ambulance? Yeah, probably I still would have. The pain was that bad. And I live with pain every day. And so, I'm used to living with pain, and I have actually a pretty decent pain tolerance. Ooh, Lou, you've been busy, honey. Good job. They're out picking cherries right now, the kids. So anyhow, I have a really high pain tolerance because I live with a baseline of pain every day in this burning down circus. And so Cynthia says hi, Lulu. Hi. She says hi. So when the pain is so much that I'm willing to pay for an ambulance, that's real. I mean, that's pee your pants pain. Okay. So, luckily I had already peed a little while before that. What baby? After everyone has had their showers and stuff. Yeah. So anyhow, I called the ambulance. I'm like, forget it. So I called them. It's lucky we have this to talk about. Dennis, this is your fault. You started, and now you're getting an hour-long explanation of how am I doing. Oh, and there's Crystal, and there's Andrea. So you be careful, Crystal, and have a wonderful time. So anyway, and good luck to your daughter. That's fabulous. That's exciting. So anyway, so I called the ambulance. I'm like, look, I don't know if I broke my foot or what, but I am in so much pain. I can't walk. I can't put weight on it. I can't nothing, and the gal on the, how old am I? I'm calling people gal. God. The lady, what are they called? The people that answer, there's a name for them. That answer the 911. What are they called? The word is escaping me. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's neither here nor there, but it's bugging me that I can't think of the word. Dispatch. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. So the dispatcher, she's telling me what to do. Make sure it's elevated, ice, whatever. I'm like, yep, we're doing this. And then she gives me the hardest part of all of it. She says, no more drinking or eating anything. I'm like, what? I broke my foot. Why? And even while I'm on the phone with her after she had said that, here's an admission, here's a confession. I had one of the kids get me a Bentyl. That's the med I take 3 times a day for my guts, part of the digestive health journey that I cover on my Grown Up Uncensored Unfiltered channel, Frugal Mama's Time Out, if you're not already subscribed to that. And I knew I would not make it without the Bentyl. I was more worried about the gut pain coming on than even this horrific pain of my foot, because I knew they could fix the pain of my foot. They'd be able to take care of that. But the gut pain, it's a different thing. So even as I'm on the phone with the dispatch, one of the kids brought me the Bentyl, and I went ahead and took the Bentyl. And then I'm like, okay, from here on out, I'll do what you say. And that's true, Tracy. It's because, so they don't know if they're going to have to chop your foot open, if they're going to have to put some stuff back together. They don't know. And so just like how if you're going to have surgery or a colonoscopy or an endoscopy or any of those procedures, they say no eating or drinking after midnight the night before. Well, that's because they don't want to risk that, you're going to start, throwing up stuff, that there's stuff in there that's going to, and you're going to aspirate and then die, pneumonia or something. So right away, she was like, the most important thing is put your foot up, get ice, don't eat or drink anything. And you guys know me. I go through 5 or 6 of these a day, plus at least 3 of these, plus 1 or 2 of these every day. So my body has a need for fluids way more than the average person, because I've adjusted the set point for my body because of how many fluids I take in every day. Consequently, I'm thirsty all the time. And being thirsty and dry mouth is a miserable thing. But at the moment, it was like, whatever, I don't care. Just please, the pain. So she says, okay. They're on their way, blah, blah, blah. And I can hear them arriving. So I hang up with her, with the dispatch. And the kids, they clear everything out. We had the puzzle we didn't have the puzzle yet, but we had some games we had been playing. So there was stuff in the living room. I'm like, guys, clear everything out. Let me see, are the bags full? Nope, that does not count. Nope, those are not full bags.
Telling Reagan.
Yeah, get back out. Well, drink some water first. It's hot drink some water.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, except Lulu's in there, so you're going to have to drink water in here.
Can I have some Powerade?
Yeah, you can have some Powerade, but drink some water. They're out picking those cherries. I told them, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Your job is to fill your grocery bag. And when that is done, you're done. Now, guys, but it is getting hot out there. Drink some water. There you go. So anyway, the paramedics came and my kids opened the door for them. They had cleared stuff out of the way because I knew there would be like a stretcher or something involved because I couldn't walk. So they clear everything out of the way. In come these 3 delightful paramedics. Apparently there was a police officer too, but I don't even remember seeing him. I only remember seeing the paramedics. But anyway, I guess the police officer was only there for a minute. He realized he wasn't needed, but they have to respond. He wasn't needed. He's like, there's craziness going on at this house again, but not one that includes him. So, or necessitates his services. So he left. The paramedics, they come in. And guys, I just couldn't breathe. I could barely talk. I'm just in so much pain. And this delightful lady, what was her name? Not Adelaide, Ainsley. That was her name. Wonderful. There was Ainsley, Jenna, and Chris. They were the paramedics. How do I remember that? I don't know. But anyway, hey, get out there and finish your job. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yep.
So anyhow, they come in, they start trying to talk to me and to talk me down. They start examining my foot. They got my Croc off of my foot. I still have the Croc on my foot. They get the Croc off my foot, and this Ainsley, this sweet Ainsley, is trying to, calm me down, help me, breathe through the pain, whatever, answer these questions. They're checking my blood pressure, checking my O2 sats, the little thing they put on your finger, checking the heart rate, and examining my foot. And, they're pretty sure it's, broken, because it looked broken. And by that time, the whole side of my foot, was a lovely hue, a shade of purple. The lump on my foot had grown. It was bad. And I said, my husband's on the way, to go with me to the hospital. And they're like, okay, so is your husband going to take you to the hospital? Do you want to do it that way? And I'm like, I don't think I can. And then within minutes, I don't know, James must have been flying down the freeway. Hallelujah, he got there safe. But James comes in and we're trying to decide, am I, going to drive with him or go with the ambulance? And I'm like, please just stop the pain. I can't do this pain. I can't handle this pain. And so one of them, I don't know who, says, P.S. Thanks, guys, for sticking with me on this wacky story that I'm going off on. But it feels good getting this story all the way out. You know, there's something cathartic about that I think I needed and didn't know I needed. And now that I've had a whole mug of coffee, we can do it. So anyhow, I said, just stop the pain. And so then one of them said, okay, but listen, once we put an IV in your arm, then we have to transport you. And I was like, yeah, put the thing in my arm. They're like, okay, but and I guess they want to make it clear to you, because then you will incur those costs, okay? But once they put an IV in, which they would have to give me medication, they weren't going to give me swallow medication. It had to be IV. Once they do that, you're committed. They're committed. You're going with them. One way or the other, you're going with them in the ambulance, and you're incurring those fees, those charges, once they put an IV in. And I was like, I don't care. And I'm crying, and I'm screaming and yelling. And James came and he sat next to me and is, trying to help me calm down. And Olivia had brought me a squishy ball, like a stress ball. That was so helpful. That poor Ainsley, she was like, well, you can squeeze my hand. I'm like, honey, you don't want me squeezing your hand right now. She's like, I've been through it. It's okay. And I'm like, no. So I'm squeezing this ball. And I was like, just give me please, just please. And so an interesting thing, and I've been wanting to talk about this, and maybe some of you can explain it to me. I'm pretty sure I know why they do it. But if any of you have first responder experience, paramedic experience, tell me if this, I'm guessing this is just protocol. So what they do, she gets the IV in my arm. Hallelujah. That's the first step. It didn't even hurt compared to the pain I was in. And then one of them is going through this, this goodie bag that they have of all their, like a Mary Poppins bag of treasures, and pulls out something. And each of them acknowledge whatever this turned out, it was fentanyl, but each of them had to acknowledge the fentanyl. Isn't that interesting? I've been wanting to talk about that because it keeps popping back up in my head. And I'm not, triage, Dennis. I'm not, I have no training in any of that. I just have lots of experience, way too much experience with first responders and paramedics. But I had never seen that before. That part of it. I'd never seen that part of it before. But she gets us, turns out it's the fentanyl, little tiny thing. And because a little goes a long way, guys, you be careful out there. But anyway, they each verbally acknowledge the medication. Have you guys ever seen that or done that? Verification of the Yeah, Tracy, my guess is because, it's fentanyl. That's, come on, that's a killer. It's a lifesaver, but it's a killer. Okay, that's a big one. That's not popping Tylenol or ibuprofen. Yeah, it's so deadly. Oh my God, it's so deadly. But anyway, they each acknowledge it. I've never seen that. So that was really interesting to me. And my question, and I've been meaning to look it up, but how many different kinds of meds are you really, Dennis? I didn't know that. How do I not know that? Huh. Good to know. But anyhow, so how many different meds, like what is the level that it starts that they have to acknowledge it? Tracy. Tracy says that way no one can say that they gave us something that they didn't. And Stephanie's like, in the craziness of it all, the madness, the chaos, it's procedure to confirm. So, and that makes sense. I didn't know that. Cynthia, you're a drug counselor? How the hell, how did I not know this? How about that? Guys, there's so much. I've been knowing you guys for 5.5 years. And there's so much I just don't know. I had never even noticed Donette's gorgeous name in our comments before. And with a name like Donette, how did I don't know. But anyway. So, what was I gonna say? Oh God. Anyway, I just thought it was really interesting. Oh, it's when they do the handover, so each of you knows what they gave you. Yeah. When you are in the ER, they give the whole rundown to the attending, whether it's the nurses or whoever accepts you. I didn't know that, Cynthia. Congratulations. Good for you. Miss T asks, could you refuse that and have them give you something else? You probably could. I don't know that, I wouldn't have. I didn't care. And as much as I don't like, morphine, fentanyl, any of those things. You guys know I'm very anti pain medication, except when you absolutely need it as someone that lives with chronic pain. But at that point, Miss T, come on, I didn't care what they were going to chop my foot off. Just make the pain stop. Just make that damn pain stop, because it was that bad. It was that bad. And like I said, I have a very high pain tolerance, but that really messed me up. And part of it was the fact that I was so panicked over it, which of course made it worse. What I almost wish they would have done was to give me something of a sedative, something to, a relaxing kind of med to calm me down, because I think that would have helped with the pain. That's my thought. So anyway, but anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Things to think about for next time, because unfortunately in my case, it's a matter of when, not if, Well, they did ask my allergies, Alyssa. They did get that out of me before giving me any medication. They asked, do you have any allergies to, la la la. And so we did establish that first. So anyhow, they acknowledge it with each other, and which I just thought was so neat. But that was trying to ask. Do you guys know at what level of pain medication do they have to do that? Like if they were just going to give you ibuprofen, do they have to do that same confirmation protocol? I'm guessing yes. Just for like what you guys were talking about, that it's a matter of being able to say, no, we didn't give you anything else. We all three saw that it was ibuprofen. That's my hope. Well, not my hope, but my assumption is that it's with any medication that they give you. Am I right? Or is it just the big guns that, excuse me, God, what's correct, Tracy? Is it that it's any medication, or is it just the big guns? I don't know. So anyway, but it was really interesting to me. Did you wash your hair?
Yep.
Thank you. It was really interesting to me. All of them? Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense just for, for their own liability, and that kind of thing. I hope you guys don't mind. We're probably going to end up going over our hour mark, because I'm enjoying talking to you and I'm having fun. So, but anyway, I don't know if I ever told you this, but my daddy, rest in peace, his nickname for me was his storyteller. Incidentally, I ended up with a bachelor's degree in creative writing. Weird. I love telling stories. I have so much fun. I do. And you gracious, wonderful folks put up with it for some reason. But anyway, so they acknowledge it, okay? And then she does the thing and puts it into the IV, and in it goes. And hi, Jen. Hello, my love. I'm so glad you're here from the UK. So that goes in, and James is sitting next to me. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, that's so generous of you. James is sitting next to me, and he's helping me try to breathe and whatever, and to try to be calm. Hi, Anne. I'm so glad you're here from North Carolina. Haven't been there yet. It's on the list. So he's trying to help me be calm. I don't know what the kids are doing, because at that point, this is what, did it feel cold, Stephanie? I don't remember feeling cold from that, because I was already cold. I was in, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I was in pretty severe shock. They were also treating me for shock. So I was shivering. My teeth were chattering, and then I was hot, and then I was shivering, my teeth chattering, then I was hot, and it was back and forth because I was in pretty serious shock at the time. And so was the medication cold? I have no idea. Thank you, Andrea. She's all rant away, Julie, and you know I will. And you're in the mountains. We have some beautiful mountains here too. Oh God, we have the whole Wasatch Front, glorious, glorious mountains. Yeah, Cynthia, to be honest though, Cynthia, I wish I had passed out from the shock, because that was some of the most miserable time of my entire life. That, it reminds you you're alive though. I guess there's that. I mean, that's something. So anyhow, they put the stuff in, and it took a little longer than I expected. Hi, Emma. Thanks for being here. 32 degrees. That's got to be Celsius, right? What does that translate to in Fahrenheit? I am ignorant of that. What is that in Fahrenheit so I can get an accurate representation? Here, we're going to be about 100, between 100 and 102 projected today Fahrenheit. The weatherman had tried to say like 97 degrees today Fahrenheit. No, we'll be past that. But yeah, just so I can get kind of 90-ish. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Ooh, for over there, you're at 90. Good Lord. So anyhow, it actually took a minute. Fentanyl, it's a very fast acting pain med. But maybe it's the way I was breathing, or maybe it wasn't enough for my weight volume. The panic, yeah, Dennis, absolutely. I bet if they would have given me a tranquilizer, it would have cut my pain in half. I really think so. Because they ended up doing that in the hospital, and it was it was. And it makes a difference. Your panic, God, it makes a difference. Oh, Stephanie, you live in Washington? Oh, how lovely. I love Seattle. I know it costs $1 zillion to live there, but God, it's beautiful. So I'll get to that, Emma, here in a sec. So anyhow, it took a minute for the fentanyl to start working, but once it did, oh God, I got high first and then got pain relief. And I don't like being incapacitated. I don't like the lack of control of my faculties. I don't like that. I know some people, that's their thing, bless them, whatever. But I don't like being, because I feel like my life is, especially in this body, is out of my control so often. I do not like losing control of my faculties. I don't like it. So that was like, and I tasted like a metallic-y taste, and that happens with a lot of IV medications, that you'll taste like a little bit of a metal taste. So, especially like barium. God, that stuff's wacky. But anyway, so first I start losing my mind, but then the pain, it brings it down, and you can still feel it. There's still pressure, and the lump on my foot was just growing and growing. So anyhow, it finally started calming things down, and then they were discussing, and I was listening to what they were discussing. It just so intrigues me, the kind of, it's like their own vernacular of paramedics, of triage, of first responders. And, the needle didn't even bother me, Andrea. Didn't even bother me. That's what I'm saying. Like, at that point, it was like, I don't care. Chop the foot off. Just make the pain stop. Of course, that would cause more pain. But anyhow, they were trying to decide, okay, do we want to take her out on a stretcher, or do we want to do, what did they call it? It was like a stair chair, something to that effect. I'll have to look it up, stair chair. But anyway, they bring in this chair. They had reached a consensus. They brought in this funny chair, and oh, Emma, no worries. We'll get to it. I'm just gonna make you hang on because I want you to keep watching. For my own selfish purposes, Emma. So anyway, they bring in this special chair, and it's a stair chair. Weird, right? I didn't know there was such a thing. I didn't know. These different things that people have come up with because of catastrophe, because of disaster, the things that are created that way. It's amazing. War and disaster and despair are often the fuel for innovation. Things that people come up with because there was a problem that had to be solved, and it ends up, in the future, helping other situations. So for instance, this stair chair is meant to get you down the stairs. Yeah, how about that? And it's got its own mechanics to it. Anyway, you should look it up. I don't know if that's exactly what it's called. I've got a computer right here. Let's look it up. Let's see. Or would it be like emergency stair chair? Stair chair for emergencies. It's not the kind of stair chair that, when you're older and you have it up the stairs. No, but evac chair. Okay, yeah, I want to see what it looks like because I don't even remember what it looks like. Okay. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, I don't know. Does it have shocks on it? It almost looks like it has shocks. It's got something. Yeah, that's a wacky looking thing. You guys should look that up. Really interesting. Hi, Rose. You just hopped into story time, Rose. I'm regaling you all with my misadventures. So anyhow, they bring in this stair chair, and hello, Lorena. They bring in this stair chair, and then this big orange inflatable thing, and I was like, is that, what did I say? I said, is that a life preserver? Or something. I'm like, what is that? And a life jacket? And they're like, no, but it's similar. So I lift up my foot. I wouldn't let them lift my foot because just having them touch it, God, that hurt. But I could lift it. And so I was like, please, if you need to do anything with my foot, please let me lift it. They're like, okay. And so, nope, that's not full. Fill the bag. Come on there. I know. Drink some water and get back out there. You're doing great, baby. You're doing great. Oh, my troopers. So anyhow, they put this, I lift my foot up and they put this, but it did. Cynthia, how did you know? The fentanyl had me saying the weirdest stuff some weird stuff. And for some reason, I felt the need to keep calling them by their names and to keep saying each, guys, get out there and fill them. Do it right. Drink some water.
Can I do it tonight?
Nope. Let's just get it done. It's only going to get hotter.
But it's really windy.
I know. Drink some water and get back out there. I'll be kind and let's say if you get it 10 more handfuls, then I'll let you take a nice long break.
What about more?
Yeah, 10 handfuls and then we'll take a break. I'm being generous.
What if 10 handfuls fills up the whole bag?
That'd be amazing. Anyway, get to it. So anyhow, so what was I saying? Okay, so I lift my foot. Yeah. And they put the orange thing under it and then it inflates. Yeah, it was so cool. And then they wrapped it around my foot, this orange inflatey thing, and then they strapped it on somehow. I don't know if they used ace bandages or what they used. I really don't know. But they put that on. They didn't wrap my foot itself or anything like that yet, but they just put that big bubble, this orange bubbly thing, on my foot. And they bring in this stair chair and together as a team, I maneuver into there. Am I making cherry pies? I just might, Andrea, or at least some cherry pie filling. But this year I'm also sharing the cherries with lots of family members because I don't know how much I'm going to be up to doing as far as processing the fruit right now in my current situation. So anyway, they get me onto the chair and it's so cool. I mean, every bump still hurt going down the stairs. Every bump was painful, but it was the neatest thing. The chair does this weird stuff. And so then they get me down to the front walk. We get onto the stretcher and then we go. And then at the hospital, just like you guys were saying, there's the handoff. And so they say, meet Julie the disaster. That should be on a shirt. They get me into the hospital, introduce me to these other medical professionals that are going to be taking care of me. And the fentanyl was still working fine. So I was not in pain yet. Again, just pressure. And then James ends up getting there and he comes in. And then it was a lot of waiting. You hurry up and wait. You hurry up and wait. Which was fine as long as the fentanyl was still good.
Can I climb the tree?
Be very careful.
Yes.
You hurry up and wait. So, but as long as the fentanyl was still doing its thing, I was okay. But here's the problem with fentanyl. So it's really strong and fast acting, but short-lived. It doesn't last very long. Fentanyl doesn't. Which is part of why it's so dangerous. Okay? Very dangerous because of how powerful it is and it has such a short lifespan. So the pain came back. It started coming back. And because, sorry to talk and eat at the same time. It's so rude. But because I had already taken the Norco and the ibuprofen and then had the fentanyl, there's a time frame where, like a lot of meds, it says, every 4 to 6 hours that you can take your Tylenol, your ibuprofen. Well, it's for a reason. Your body needs time to process it, and your body can only handle so much before it becomes toxic, So because I had taken those other meds at home and then had the fentanyl, I had to wait. I had to wait because, you had to wait for it to process enough before you could be given any more pain medication. So what they ended up doing, which I thought was so sweet, first they gave me a something for the nausea because I was pretty nauseated. Because I hadn't even had breakfast, guys. Had I even had coffee that morning? I don't think I had even had coffee. Because I had been out gardening all morning, and you guys know once I get started on something, I get hyper focused and I forget about everything else, And so I hadn't even had breakfast, I don't think. So all I had that morning, I might have had coffee. Maybe I had coffee. Hi, Anita. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, so I'm starving. I'm lightheaded. I'm thirsty. My stomach is empty. And so having, these powerful meds on an empty stomach, that messes you up. So anyway, so they gave me something for the Zofran. They gave me Zofran through the IV to help with the nausea. Awesome. But then they also gave me, and it took a while, but they gave me some Ativan, a very low dose of Ativan. I don't like that kind of stuff. That stuff scares me. Hello, Joanne, Alan Ben Hook. So they gave me some Ativan, which just calmed me down. It's not a pain medication. Neither of those are. But we addressed the nausea, and then they gave me the Ativan, which addressed like the panic and all of that and helped me to calm down so that I could breathe through the pain, and that. And I still wasn't allowed water, ice chips, nothing, because until we got the x-rays, we wouldn't know if we're going to have surgery or what, and so they still weren't letting me have water. They're in the ER. And we ended up being in the ER for like 4 or 5 hours, which to me was pretty darn quick. For an ER, come on, that is quick. And James was like, no, it was like all day. And it was like 3 or 4 hours. For an ER, that's not bad at all. That's really not bad. So anyhow, the Ativan, that helped me to chill and to be able to deal with the pain. And then I had thought I was going to have to go somewhere to get x-rays, No, these days, guys, it is amazing the things that people have come up with. But they bring the x-rays to you. They bring them to you. Yeah, exactly, Emma. That between the shock and the empty stomach. Yeah. Excuse me. So, I got to get back on the Prilosec. Really makes a difference. But anyway, so they bring the x-ray machine to you. How crazy is that? Modern technology and medical technology is amazing. Things are coming up with. But anyway, so we did the x-rays. That was painful. And then once they got the results back from those, they knew that we weren't going to be doing surgery. So then, hallelujah, I got to have some water. That was amazing. I'd even had James bring my water bottle, I had him bring it to the hospital. So anyhow, they let me, Cynthia, have a wonderful day. Have a beautiful day, and you be safe out there, okay? And I hope your recovery continues quickly from the accident. But anyhow, they find out it's not broken, whatever. But then the issue that we ran into, and I think I documented this, might have been on the Grown Up channel, but because they had given me the Ativan, it had suppressed my breathing. and so between the meds that I had taken, and then the fentanyl and then the Ativan, it was suppressing my breathing. So my oxygen was dangerous. It was getting to a dangerous point. So then they had to give me supplemental oxygen. And apparently that's a common thing. It's a common thing that those will suppress your ability to get enough oxygen. But then, you take an asthmatic person, that just makes it even worse. So then we had to wait till the Ativan had gone through enough that I could breathe on my own. Okay. Renee, I wait to hear back about that and how that's all going. And I will check my messages today to see your message. Hugs to you too, my love. Hugs to you too. So yeah, Anita, they bring the whole x-ray machine right to you. It's on wheels. And in fact, in like the trauma bays, the trauma rooms in the ER, the x-ray machine is right there. I know, because my mama had to be in one of those, and they do the x-ray right there in the room. It's in the ceiling. But for the non-trauma rooms, yeah, they just wheel the x-ray thing in there. It's amazing. But anyhow, so we had to get my oxygen back up. And then I did, Tracy. Yeah, I told on the phone to the dispatch, I told her what meds I had taken. And then when the paramedics got there, I told them also what I had taken. Then I repeated it again in the ER, because they ask you, everybody asks you. I mean, they transfer the information to each other, but they also ask you. I don't know why. But anyhow, so we're getting my breathing back under control, but the pain, because to get my breathing back under control, we needed the Ativan to process. But then with the Ativan processing and not lasting, then you start freaking out again, and then the pain so I was like, can we please do something? I understand you can't give me those other things. I don't want those other things. I want something that will just take care of the pain and not make me loopy, because I finally wasn't loopy anymore. I just want something for the pain. Please help me with the pain. And so what they ended up doing was something, I believe it was called Toradol, but essentially what it is, it's like ibuprofen.
Cherries.
Thank you guys. Go have a nice long break.
Also, it's coming out.
Okay.
Being double.
Well, we'll have to get another bag. Anyhow, thanks, babies. Sorry, guys, I got some indigestion here. I really need to get back on the Prilosec. But anyway, so, okay, nice and quiet, guys. No, you guys still have to do showers. So just rest, drink some water, hang out. Yeah, will you refill this, please? Yeah. Trade for trade. Yeah. Go ahead and drink, though. Drink this and then go fill that, please. But anyway, so they gave me this Toradol stuff, and it's an anti-inflammatory, and that's what the pain was, is the inflammation. Inflammation hurts. It does, because it's pressing against your skin, and so all your pain sensor things and nerve endings and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyhow, drink, Mimi, drink water. Yes, and that, but also drink water. Okay. So anyhow, they get me the Toradol finally. And that helps with the inflammation, but it doesn't cause, you to get loopy. I know, Dennis. God, I'm so freaking hyper. And there's Bonnie. See, I'm glad we stayed late today, because now Bonnie's with us. Thank you, Rose. We're on the road to recovery, Rose. We are. We absolutely are. So anyway, they give me that stuff, and like I've said, I'm not supposed to be taking ibuprofen anymore because of the gastritis, and the digestive journey we've been on. But the nice thing about this Toradol, I hope I'm saying it right, but anyway, it doesn't, because doing it in IV, it doesn't go through your stomach. You see, it still has to go through your liver, your kidneys, whatever, to be processed, but it doesn't go through your stomach because it's an IV. Yeah, the doctor there, she explained it to me. It was awesome. Can I just say how much I loved having a female doctor? I love guys, I do, and especially the doctor variety. But it was just really neat to have a female doctor, and she was she was fantastic. The life of me, I can't remember her name. There were so many names, but she was wonderful. She really was. But anyway, so I had been concerned about that. I'm like, if it's that kind of a med, I don't want it going through my stomach, because there's this and that. And she's like, no. It'll still go through your kidneys and your liver, but not your stomach. So just so you know. Hi, Peggy. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so generous. That's so incredibly generous, Peggy. Thank you. Excuse me. So anyway, she gives me that stuff, and it did help. It really did, because the inflammation is the biggest part of the pain. So they do all that, and then once my breathing is normal with room air, once my pain level is at a place where it's manageable, and once I was able to, with a nurse's help, go use the restroom, then I was cleared to be discharged. Yeah, I needed that. Isn't that interesting? One of the requirements for discharge was that I needed to be able to go to the bathroom. And that's a common requirement. I'm not sure why. Because at first I had said, just give me a catheter. I don't want to, this is, because I needed to pee desperately at some point. And anyway, they were going to do a catheter, but then they decided, once we had the x-rays and stuff, to just try to, fast track me and get me home. Which is good, because I don't want to stay there any longer than necessary. Andrea, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here and for indulging me and letting me go on and on. So anyway, the nurse helps me, and I go to the bathroom, get all that done. And then it wasn't much longer. They, take the IV out, they do all those things, they do another check of all your vitals, And then I was able to go home, and they wheeled me out. Now here's the other interesting thing. They wheeled me out, and I said at the beginning of this that I hadn't realized that my left leg was injured. It had gotten hurt. Not like my foot, okay, but my left leg had gotten hurt, but I didn't realize it till trying to get into the car. I know, Dennis, we're getting there. Poor Dennis. Oh my God. Dennis waiting to know how I'm doing. That's what he asked. He made the mistake of asking that question. And then poor Emma, who's waiting for what my freaking final diagnosis was. I know so many of you said you want to like meet me in person or come for a visit. I don't know if you can handle it. I don't know if you can. Carol knows. Carol knows. She's met with me several times and she knows. But anyway, you got to take a shot every time I say but anyway. Okay, that's going to be the game. Take a shot every time I say but anyway. So we get out to the car. The nurse wheeled me out, in the wheelchair. James brought the car around, and yeah, Bonnie, they make sure that your systems are working. That's why you have to go to the bathroom. Who else was saying something about that? Stephanie, her husband. Yeah. So trying to get into the car, I knew it was going to be rough because I only had the one foot, but I didn't realize that my left leg was that injured, because she opens the car door and wheels me in, and she's like lifting this arm, and I stand up on my left foot and I just collapsed. I was like, what in the world? Because my left foot was not the injured foot. And I was like, oh God, and it just caught me off guard. And I was asking the nurse, I'm like, what happened? And she's like, you're okay. And helps drag me into the car. But what had happened was my left leg, muscles all got stretched and pulled, and it just gave out. Crazy stuff. I almost think they should have taken me back in and done an examination of my left leg to see what was going on there. But we didn't, and I was so ready to be home, and to be out of there. And so they got me in, and Bonnie, that makes sense. She says, I was told because of the risks of infection, they no longer use catheters. Well, they would have done a catheter if I had had to stay longer. But luckily we didn't have to do that. To be honest though, I don't mind a catheter. I've had to have them several times, and where I do drink so much liquid, I have to pee all the time, and I hate the feeling of having to pee. So whatever needed to be done, I would have done. But anyway, I wanted out of there. So we're in the car and we come home, and then James opens my door, and I just wait there while he climbs into the attic and found the crutches, and then came out and he helped me get in the house. That was an adventure, and the process began. And now today's Friday, so Monday will be 2 weeks out from all of that catastrophe. And now, Dennis, are you ready? Here we go, Dennis. I am feeling so much better, Dennis. Are we perfect yet? Nope. There's still new bruising every day as the blood and the thing moves around in my foot. I'll put up a picture at some point on one of the channels of what my foot looks like now, and it's bizarre. It looks like a zombie foot. It really does. There's still the swelling on the actual injured part, but my foot has come back down to size. It got ginormous. I think I showed you guys before in other videos. My foot it was huge. But now that immediate swelling has all gone down, and now it's just the injured parts that they're just still huge. These like potato on the side of my foot. But the bruising, this is the most bizarre thing. The bruising has moved down my foot, and now it's in my toes. And so my toes are purple and black and blue. It is so weird, but my foot is yellow. My foot's all yellow now. Okay. Other than there's a little bit of dark bruising still around like my heel. There's still some dark bruising, but my whole foot, no, it's yellow now, yellow and green. But my toes are this crazy dark purple, and it freaked Reagan and I out because I took off my shoe, took off my sock, And we saw that and we're like, what in the world? But I called my brother, he's a doctor in Arizona, and I said, you know, I sent him a picture and I said, is this normal? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. The bruising can appear and or move for 2 weeks after the initial accident. That's totally normal. Now, if after that it's still doing wacky stuff, then you want to get it checked out. But for like 2 weeks after your initial injury, the bruising can continue to develop and to migrate. Learning something new all the time. But anyway, massive improvements, you know. I was going to talk about the rum. Too bad Cynthia already left. But the first 2 days at home, yeah, I had to have me a couple of shots of rum each day just to, it wasn't for pain relief, but it was to calm myself down. You take a quick shot of dark rum, that'll calm you down. And by calming down, I was able to deal with the pain because those first few days were horrible. Really, Dennis? You think so? Challenge accepted. But anyway, those first few days were horrible. God, they were awful. They were awful. The physical pain of it, and then just the frustration, the restlessness, all of that. So just, you know. But anyway, a couple of shots of rum, those first 2 or 3 days, helped me to be able to manage the pain and not have to take, you know, a lot of pain meds. I have had to take Tylenol occasionally, and then small doses of ibuprofen throughout the process, just to stay on top of it, you know, to manage the pain. But anyway, I'm doing a lot better, Dennis. I'm doing a lot better. Mentally and emotionally, I'm still really struggling because there's so many things I want to be doing. You guys know this. I'm not the kind that can just chill, you know, and just sit, and I can't. It's so I'm dealing with that. It's very frustrating. Yeah, I think that the mental damage of this situation was worse than the physical damage, really. Yeah, so mentally and emotionally, I'm struggling. Absolutely struggling because it's just the frustration. But physically, massive improvements. I was able to wear my sneakers 2 days in a row. Yesterday and the day before, and I'm going to wear them again today. I was able to get out day before yesterday and do a bunch of gardening. You know, and then I paid for it yesterday. God, I paid for it yesterday. Yeah, Rosalind, gravity, as it's the blood is moving. Yeah, you're right. So I definitely overdid it the day before yesterday when I was out gardening. Overdid it physically, but mentally and emotionally, it was exactly what I needed. And so I needed to balance, you know, those different things, you know, the priorities. Because if you lose your mental health, nothing else matters. So I needed to be out there. I was as careful as I could be under the circumstances, working in flower beds that are uneven, you know. Did the best that I could, tried to listen to my body, tried not to be stupid about it, had, you know, a neighbor kid and my kids helping as much as possible. But really, it really helped me mentally and emotionally to be out there, you know, and do some gardening and have my hands in the dirt and all of that it was wonderful. It was so wonderful. So that's how I'm doing, Dennis. That's how I'm doing. There's your over an hour long summation of how I'm doing. Oh God. Anyway, yeah, physically definitely improving, especially if I'm smart about it and put my foot up every hour. Because when we're done here, I'll do it again. I'll put my foot up and, you know, elevate it for, you know, a half hour at least. So we are absolutely improving. Absolutely. Now, to Emma's question, what is the diagnosis? We don't have a 100% diagnosis yet. And you're like, I waited all this time and you don't even have a solid answer. No, I don't. What we do know is that, and I think I'm working on a video for this, about this on my grown-up channel, Frugal Mama's Time Out, about the specifics. Yeah. Crazy but not lazy, Dennis. Have you been around to hear about that? That's my new slogan. Crazy but not lazy. I want to put it on a shirt or at least a coffee mug. but as far as the actual diagnosis, what we do know is that it's a grade 3 sprain. We know that for sure. And what that means is that the ligaments, the connective tissues, they ripped clean through. And you can see them and you can feel them. But on my foot, because it's not on my ankle, it's on my foot, like kind of almost mid-foot. You can see them. They've kind of like when there's an earthquake and, you know, the plates come together and go like this. That's essentially what my foot has done. Those tissues were ripped through and now they've swollen and they're up like this. Between wearing the ACE bandage and the air cast, my hope is that they will heal in time, that they will reconnect without surgery. I don't know yet if that's going to work, but I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful that they'll be able to, heal on their own. But it's a pretty massive injury when they rip all the way through. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, and oftentimes does require surgery. But I'm really hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful. Yeah, Emma, the ligaments there, there's like 3 different sets of them there on your foot. And the ones on, so say this is my foot right here, the ligaments there, they completely ripped through. Yeah, they separated. And so, the hope is that they won't, have to be sewn back together or whatever it is they do. My mom had to have that done. Very painful. So I'm resting it. I'm trying to be smart about it. I got an ACE bandage on it today, but I also, use the air cast. I find putting sneakers on seems to help too. Hopefully with that compression and stabilization and immobilization, those tissues will reconnect, Emma. But we're going to have new images done next week. I wanted to do it this week, but it just hasn't happened. So we'll have new images done next week. The problem when you get the initial images in the ER is that there's so much swelling that it's hard to know 100% if there is a fracture of bones because the swelling, it's in the way, and so they didn't see anything broken when we were in the hospital, but I do need to go in and have new images done and then possibly an MRI and stuff like that to see how the tissues, not bones, but how the tissues are healing. And that will determine if we need to have surgery or if it's going to heal on its own. The way it looks right now is discouraging. It is discouraging. But I'm still hopeful. I have to be hopeful or I'll go crazy again. More crazy, Dennis. Yeah, I'm truly hopeful that they'll heal on their own. Hi, Reggie. But I don't know. So we'll get new images next week and then we'll have a solid plan of hopefully just continuing the way I've been doing it, listening to my body, trying to be smart about things, trying to be prudent, and within, a few weeks, hopefully we'll be good to go. That's the hope. Okay. So as far as the actual diagnosis, Emma, there you go. Specifically, it's a grade 3 sprain, which means that the connective tissues completely ripped. They tore, which makes sense because my foot, went all the way over here. So those tissues, they ripped in the process of my foot turning over, or was it? No, it was turning up. That's right. My foot turned up. God, I can't remember. Anyway, but those tissues, they ripped. They completely ripped. Tore clean through. It is possible for them to heal. It is possible. But I'm older. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. But I will absolutely, of course, I will let you guys know, once I've gone and gotten new images and that kind of thing. Oh God, Peggy. Oh, I'm sorry. Yikes. Yeah. I hope to never have to have hardware put in, but it's almost inevitable. I'll end up having to have my knees replaced and stuff like that at some point, but hopefully we can avoid that for a good long time. My ankles are weak. My feet are weak. Barbara, yes, absolutely. I will need physical therapy. Yeah. Yeah, that's a guarantee. And I've already started looking at some of the suggested exercises for it and have been testing a little, but my foot's not quite ready. Yeah, it's not quite ready. But I will have to do physical therapy. Yeah, it sucks, but you know, it is what it is. And I want to strengthen my feet and my ankles because they're very weak. I've how many sprains have I had? Good Lord. Or even just like a simple twisted ankle. So many. It's to be honest, it seems like it happens like once a year, doesn't it? At least. And the reason being, and I was talking to someone about this. God, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to my friend. Mimi, quítate. Go find something to do. So I was talking to my friend, and what it is when I was a nanny, we're going way back, okay? When I was a nanny in Connecticut, I was 19 and 20. I was a nanny in Connecticut, and if you've been with us a long time, and especially if you follow my uncensored, unfiltered grown-up channel, Frugal Mama's Time Out, then you'll know that I have dealt with bulimia, eating disorder, since I was 16. Semi-normal, Dennis, but I mean, what is normal? You know. So I've dealt with a severe eating disorder since I was 16. You know, I've been hospitalized, institutionalized. I don't know how much therapy. I've almost died. I don't know how many times because of the effects of the eating disorder. I've had to have so many upper endoscopies and cultures and samples of my like throat. Reggie, guys. These babies, they want to say hi to you guys, huh? So part of the way that my disorder was presenting at that time, having gone across the country, away from my family, I knew nobody out there, you know, it was so good for me in so many ways, but also absolutely terrible for my mental health. Anyway, my eating disorder went crazy out there. I was not getting professional help at the time, though I should have been. I didn't have health coverage. I didn't realize that I could still legally be on my parents' insurance at the time. I didn't know that. So anyway, my eating disorder was out of control. Okay, it was out of control. And one of the ways that it was manifesting was in an over-exercise compulsion. And so, sorry guys, I think I'm coming down with something. Feels like it. I got some cold medicine right here.
Maybe you got Amy's cold.
Yeah, Mimi thinks I caught a cold from her doll. Her doll baby has a cold right now, so send your love to her doll baby. But
She was at 102 yesterday.
I know. Just a sec. So anyway, one of the things that I was doing as a disordered behavior was over-exercising. And so I was running. Oh God, I was running 10 to 13 miles a day. And then on top of that, doing like 3 extra. If this is triggering for anyone, I absolutely apologize. I apologize. Should have put a trigger warning before I went into this. If you don't want to hear this kind of talk, or it is not helpful for you and causes problems, please click off. Okay. But but this is my story. You know. Yeah, I was doing, you know, at least 3 exercise videos a day. You know, workout videos, and then running in the morning, running in midday, running in the afternoon or evening, totaling 10 to 13 miles a day. And yeah, it was bad. It was pretty bad. All of that along with binging and purging. So it was a really rough time. It was also an amazing time. I got to do so many different things and experience so many amazing things that I never would have otherwise if I hadn't have been a nanny. But but alas, you know, I'll do that, Miss T. That's a great idea. I'll do that. She's saying to gargle with some salt, and I will. I'll do that. But anyhow, I was in a really bad place. Yeah, really bad. Even though I was having amazing adventures and having a wonderful time in my life, I was also up here in a very bad place. If you've dealt with a mental health disorder and eating disorder specifically, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's a lifelong thing. So it goes into remission, but you're fighting it every day for the rest of your life. So anyhow, I'm going to take some cold medicine. Hope you guys don't mind. Why would you mind? a dumb thing to say, but anyway. So the problem, A, was overuse, because that kind of exercise, that kind of aerobic exercise without muscle training. So I had never been like on a track team or anything like that. So I had no education in how a runner needs to take care of their feet and their ankles. And have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. Oh, I appreciate that. And oh, you're so sweet to indulge me. But have a beautiful day. Be safe and be well. So anyhow, I had no experience, no knowledge of what you needed to do to strengthen those, to strengthen your ankles, to strengthen your feet and all the connective tissues and the muscles. I wasn't doing strength training. So I wasn't building or strengthening, the infrastructure of my body. No, because I wasn't doing it to be healthy or for the love of running. Even though I did love running, I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing it as weight management and as mental health management. Okay? So I was running and exercising and all this excessively. Obviously, excessively. I don't even know that Olympians run 10 to 13 miles a day. I don't think so. My sister is a marathoner. She's done lots of these marathons, half marathons, all this stuff. My brothers, they have too, and they don't run that much a day. That's insanity, and that's what it was. It was absolutely insanity, and and that's what I was doing. Hi, Stavey. See, I'm so glad we're just going all day with this live stream, this wacky live stream, because we get to have people in that wouldn't have been able to be in otherwise. So anyhow, because I wasn't doing the proper strength training or even the right stretching. I wasn't even stretching. Because I wasn't doing this as an athlete. I was doing this as a sick person, okay? An eating disordered person, not as an athlete. And so I wasn't doing the proper stretching. I wasn't doing the proper strength training. I wasn't allowing my body time to rest in between these arduous ordeals. And so after this had been going on probably a year of this just, torture. The only reason it lasted that long is because I was so young. 1920, not the year 1920, though my kids seem to think I've been around that long sometimes. Huh, Mimi? You're always asking, Mom, were you alive when such and such? And I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, I was 19 or 20 years old during this time. And that's the only reason that it could go on for so long. I was young. My body could put up with it as long as it did. Now, God, no, can't even climb up and down a pile of rocks without, But one day, after this had been going on for like a year, one day I'm on the treadmill in my employer's bedroom. They had started hiding the key from me. The key to the treadmill. It has a little, a slide-in key thing that you had to have for that one. It was just that type of a treadmill. Really fancy treadmill. Good God. It's the kind that, the quality that you would have at the gym, but it also had this like key thing. So anyway, they started hiding it from me. Guys, I was so sick at the time. We'll talk more about this on my grown-up channel. It's not really appropriate here, but I would search their room. I was not the best nanny, okay? I was not in a good place. I would search their room, their dresser drawers. Talk about some confessions. Oh my God. But because I wanted that key, I needed that key. Like even right now, I'm starting to feel shaky thinking about it. Jesus, I was sick, okay? I was very sick. But they would hide the key from me because they knew I was sick. And so they didn't know what to do. They didn't have experience with this, and they just wanted me to take care of their damn kids. So anyways, that final day of this madness, I'm on the treadmill. I was at maybe 5 miles at that point that I had run that particular session. And all of a sudden, my ankles gave out. They just stopped. Like they were like jello. I don't know. I didn't go to a doctor. I didn't get it looked at or anything looked at till a couple years later. Did I even start, figuring out that I had totally messed myself up? and actually getting treatment for it or attempting to get treatment for it. But my ankles gave out completely. They wouldn't hold me. And there wasn't much of me to hold at the time. Okay, I was not like this. Some of you, if you watch my grown-up channel, you've seen I was bones, okay? And my poor bones could not hold up my bones. It was bad. It was bad. And I know there's some of you out there who have experience with this, or, you know, family members or whatever, friends. But my ankles just quit. And I had to drag myself out of there. And it was very awkward and painful, and it was quite a situation, a comedy of errors, because the treadmill was still going. The treadmill doesn't stop just because you stopped, okay? So the treadmill is still going. Oh, God, that was quite a picture. But I was able to pull the thing, you know, because there's like the emergency stop. I was able to pull that and turn the thing off and drag myself out of there. But my ankles, they gave out. And so for a few days, I was hobbling around, and that was a mess. The grown-up channel, Rosalind, is Frugal Mama's Time Out. That's where I swear more than I do on here, because I don't try not to. And I've taken you guys in the shower with me, and you'll know everything and anything and way more than you wanted to about me and my life on that channel. So be warned. I also go into more of my belief or lack thereof on the religious spectrum. So if that's the kind of thing that's going to offend you, don't watch that, okay? But anyhow, so for a few days, my ankles barely worked, but eventually I got to where I could walk again, but not to where I could run or any of that kind of thing. And so then I ended up more on the binge and purge side of the disorder, because keep in mind, I wasn't running to be an athlete. I was running as a manifestation of my eating disorder. So when I could no longer run, when I no longer had that outlet to burn calories, then I went more the other way, the binging and purging. And that was a devastating time for myself, for my body, for the kids that I nannied. That was a horrible situation. But I wasn't able to run anymore. And it was several years before, and plus I had knee surgery and different things. It was a long time before I was able to run again. Yeah. And even walk comfortably and stuff like that. So all of that madness to say that my poor ankles have never completely recovered, my ankles and my feet, because when all that happened at the time, I didn't go to the doctor, didn't have them looked at, no x-rays, no MRIs, no nothing. Well, Rosalind, you've been warned, okay? You've been warned about going over there. You know, Dennis, I think so. I think you're right. Says I need to talk about it. Obviously I do. Which is interesting because I've been hospitalized. There's Frugal Living. Hi, Shelly. Years of treatment, years and years and years of mental health treatment for the eating disorder, and have been in recovery for like 2.5 years now. Yeah. I say I'm clean, for about 2.5 years, which has been amazing. But anyway, didn't have them looked at, didn't get any treatment or any physical therapy or any of that at the time. And so now, all these years later, okay, my ankles, and this is something I'm going to be working on, and I vow this right now, I promise you guys this right now, that when this ankle heals, I'm going to start doing some serious physical therapy and strength training for both of my ankles and my feet. It's not too late. They'll never be what they would have been if I hadn't messed them up, okay? But they can be strengthened, and I've had enough of this. This time was so mentally devastating and so like dramatic as far as the injury to my foot that I'm just like, no, we are not going through this again. Now, accidents will happen, but my eyes have been opened. Hi, love yourself, please. I'm so glad you're here. My eyes have been opened to it, and I'm like, no, this is ridiculous. You need to do the work, finally, and strengthen the ankles and the feet so that this stuff doesn't happen so easily again in the future. like I was saying, how many times have I hurt my ankles or my feet? In my left foot, I've broken it at least twice that I can think of. I've broken several of my toes. I've twisted both ankles several times. I've sprained both ankles. I've sprained different parts of my feet. The break in my left foot, the one was pretty dang bad. I broke 3 bones in my foot that time across like the top of my foot. And they only x-rayed my ankle that time. So we didn't even know that my foot was broken till a couple months later. And then we had to go through a whole MRI and all this thing. And they were like, we're going to have to break your foot, re-break it to put this back together and stuff. Luckily, it had healed nicely enough that they didn't have to. I ended up having to have, some physical therapy on it and stuff like that. But the problem is I've never done enough past, the initial physical therapy. I haven't done enough of the strength training to build up the stability of my ankles and my feet. And that's why they get hurt so easily and so dramatically. I just haven't done the work. This time, guys, I promise this. This time I'm working on it. Okay? I mean it. Because I can't keep going through this. And I'm not getting any younger. So I'll do the physical therapy. As we've said, I already met my max out of pocket. We're in June, and we've met our max out of pocket for healthcare. So, the physical therapy, Mimi, she's so cute, Mimi, it'll be covered 100% by our insurance. So there's no excuse. And I have found I can drive. It hurts like a son of a whore, okay? But yesterday, Olivia had a doctor appointment we couldn't miss, and we absolutely were not going to reschedule because you guys know how it is trying to get in with specialists. We scheduled this appointment a month and a half ago, okay? So we had to go to this appointment, and I had no one else around or available to take her. Well, there was a couple more people I could have asked, but I think my pride got in the way, and so I didn't. Let's be honest there. But so anyway, I got all the crutches, got out to the car. Olivia helped me get in the car, and we drove. We went to her appointment. Luckily, it wasn't too far away. And it hurt. It hurt really bad because it's my right foot, and that's the foot you use, to drive, your gas, your brake. But I did find if I, instead of using my toes, if I tried to use more the middle of my foot, that was at least easier. It was better. It was less painful. But yeah, there's no excuse because I can drive. It's painful, but I can do it. We've met our max out of pocket on the insurance, so there's no excuse to not go hardcore into the physical therapy and then also do the strength training exercises here at home. I said earlier, I've already looked up some of the exercises to do, and I can start doing them with my left foot because my left foot's fine. I can start doing that. I tried a little bit with my right foot. It's not ready. Okay, it needs to finish healing, and then we'll start the physical therapy and the strength training. But I can go ahead and start with my left foot, and I'm going to. I mean it. We'll go ahead and start today here at home. I'm so grateful for the internet. It's got some sick stuff and some nasty stuff, but it also is so helpful. You need strength exercises for your ankle. They're right there on the internet for free. It's all right there. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, Stephanie, I'm so glad. I'm so glad because I'm loving being with you. So I will. That is my promise to you guys today. I will start the strength training exercises for my ankle and my foot. On my left foot, we'll start that today. And then once I get clearance on the right foot, we'll start that one too. Because we can't keep doing this, you guys. We can't keep doing this. If you've been with us for a long time, you know. It seems like it's at least once a year that I've sprained an ankle or messed my foot up or whatever because of all the damage that I did to them, in my younger days. Did you guys know that I was in Connecticut for 9/11? In Monroe, Connecticut. Beautiful little town. Gorgeous little town. I'd love to go back there someday. But I was there for 9/11. In fact, I flew home from JFK, that airport, 2 weeks after 9/11 is when I flew home and was done with my contract. Excuse me. And flying out of JFK, excuse me, Jesus, there was still this is 2 weeks after 9/11, there was still a huge cloud of smoke hanging over the city. It's flying up and out, and you could still see the huge cloud of smoke over the city. Crazy, huh? Oh, that was a horrible time. That was a terrifying time. I had no intention to go into my 9/11 story, but there it is. There you have it. Yeah, that was a terrifying time. I don't know if you guys knew, but the phone lines went down. The phone lines, because not everyone knows this, but a lot of the people that work in the city, in New York City, they don't live there. They commute, okay? Most of the people that work in the city, they don't live there, okay? They live in Connecticut. They keep those things separate, okay? And no judgment, okay? It is what it is. And they'll ride the train or they'll commute and drive in, which, ooh, what a horrible commute. But a lot of them, they'll ride the train. And so a lot of our neighbors, people in that area, worked there in the city. Or in Bridgeport or in Hartford or whatever. But anyway, but where I live, there weren't even sidewalks. In Monroe, in Connecticut. No sidewalks. The reason why? People that worked in the city, they didn't want that at home. They didn't want anything city at home. Okay? So there weren't even sidewalks. So bizarre. And it's all just hacked out of the woods there in Connecticut. So they'd have to work in the city. But their home, they wanted it to be completely separate. Not look anything like the city. So no, not even sidewalks, okay? In those neighborhoods. Anyway, so a lot of the people in these neighborhoods, yeah, they worked elsewhere. They commuted. And so that was a terrifying time because there was a lot of our neighbors that, they're wondering, is mommy or daddy coming home? And you can't get a hold of them. And so the phones went down. The phones absolutely went down. We had phone service in the morning, and right after the first couple of planes hit, we did have service, and I was able to call my employer, who, Lord love him and rest in peace. He didn't know what was we didn't know, was this an accident? No one knew this was a terrorist attack when this first was happening. We didn't know that, okay? And he, rest in peace, rest his soul, but he thought I was overreacting because he didn't know. Nobody knew what was actually happening. Okay. Hindsight, it's all very clear. Okay. But at the time, we didn't know what was happening. For me, it was the world was ending. The world was ending. Okay. It was over. But he was like, no, you don't overreact. This was an accident, is a thing. And I was like, you don't understand. I can't do this. I can't take care of your kids. 2 of them were at school and 2 of them I had at home, the younger ones. And I'm like, I can't do this. And I acknowledged to myself that I didn't have the mental or emotional capacity to handle what was going on because I was seeing it now on TV. We had been on the way to preschool. The other 2 kids, they had gone on the bus. They were already at school. But I had the babies. The toddler, the youngin, and the baby, and we had been on the way to the preschool, really fancy little preschool, and then all this stuff came on the news. Tracy, have a beautiful day. You go help your husband. Guys, never worry about if you have to leave. This all ends up on a rebroadcast, and if you want to watch the madness, you're always welcome to come back and watch it, and I appreciate it. But so we had heard it on the radio. And I was flipping through the radio channels, at the frequencies, and I thought they were talking about a movie. Sorry, we're going into this. It started, it's happening. I thought they were talking about a movie. It sounded like a movie. But then I kept listening, and at the stop sign, I was like, they're not talking about a movie. I don't know what's going on. And so I turned the station wagon around. It was a station wagon. Yeah, I was driving a station wagon, and I did a U-E, and I turned around and went back to the house, unloaded the kids, and turned on the TV, and that was it. No, my foot's on that. That was it. I turned on the TV and I'm like, oh my God. Guys, I was raised mostly Mormon, but also Catholic. Okay. So I know. And now I'm an agnostic atheist. But anyway, I was out of my gourd. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm just, and I didn't know how to keep the kids calm. And on TV, this stuff, Jesus, it was bad. Okay. and so I called my boss. I couldn't get a hold of the mom, but I got a hold of the dad before the phone lines went down. And I was like, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm watching this. I'm seeing this. And he's like, okay, well, stop freaking out in front of my kids, which he had every right to say that. Okay. But I was not able to. I wasn't able. I'm a 19, 20-year-old kid on the other side of the country from home, and this stuff is on the TV, and I was out of my mind. Anyway, he's trying to tell me it was an accident, you know, it's not that big a deal, it's not a crisis. That was one of his favorite things to say, and I say it to my kids now. That was like his tagline, his motto. It's not a crisis, you know, with that Connecticut accent. But I said, look, I can't do it. I can't do this. And so he called his mom, who luckily, you know, the grandparents, you know, live close, and she was able, bless her heart, wonderful woman, she was able to come and relieve me. We didn't get the kids home. The kind of consensus was leave the kids at school, let them do what they do. That was the consensus in the area, was just leave the kids at school. So grandma came over and she took care of the younger two, and I went downstairs, turned on my TV, got on the phone, and started trying to call my mama. I finally got through to her, and as I'm talking to my mama, by that time that I was relieved from duty and was down in my room on the phone with my mom, God, this got crazy. Shit. Why don't you guys go play in the other room, huh?
I kept asking her to play.
Yeah, go play in the other room.
Can I use the computer? Because you said one and...
Yeah, I guess you can. Yeah, go in the other room, guys.
Those are wrong.
Huh? Yeah, that's okay. Go play. So anyhow, as I'm on the phone with my mom...
Can I use the computer with me?
Shh. As I'm on the phone with my mom, the tower fell. Yeah. It fell. The first one to collapsed. Right there on TV. It's all live. It's all happening right then and there. I'm on the phone with my mom, and it collapsed. Yeah. And my mom, bless her heart, you know, I'm her baby. I'm on the other side of the country. Her and I both agree the world is ending. You know, they're coming for us. The whole thing's going to be blown up. I'm, you know, a short train ride away from the city. She just starts screaming at me, Julie, just come home. I'm like, Mom, they've shut down the airports. The airports are shut down. No one's going anywhere. All the planes have been grounded. You know, all the planes have been grounded. No one's going anywhere. She's like, let's get you on a bus, a Greyhound. I'm like, Mom, the buses have been grounded. They've been stopped. No one's going anywhere. No trains are running. Guys, I don't think you understand. All the planes were stopped. Everyone was grounded. All the trains were stopped. There was no trains coming in and out of the city. There were no trains going anywhere. Nowhere. You were not going anywhere. Buses, like your Greyhounds and stuff, they were stopped. Your Amtrak, stopped. No one was going anywhere. You were not getting anywhere. There was no way to go anywhere. Well, except in your car, I guess, but I didn't own a car. I had the family car. It was crazy. And I'm on the phone with my mom, and the phone, you know, keeps cutting out or hanging up, and, you know, trying to reestablish a phone line because the phone lines all went down, especially cell phones. This is younger folk. This was a long time ago. Cell phones were still a new thing. Okay. And we did not have the coverage, you know, and reliability of cell phones that we do now. Okay. Even in the city, even in a populated area. Yeah, I was a nanny, guys. I was a nanny in Connecticut. I had 4 kids that I nannied for in Monroe, Connecticut, a beautiful place, beautiful family. I just was not mature enough mentally or emotionally. I was definitely not healthy enough. I was deep in my eating disorder. I was not healthy enough to be a nanny at the time. Okay. I wasn't. But anyway, it was a tricky time. The phone lines, especially cell phones, they were down. Okay. And all transportation was locked down. You were not going anywhere unless you were walking or driving, and even roads were closed off. So depending on where you were. So it was a terrifying time, and it's all broadcast live. You're just living it minute by minute. And I'm on the phone with my mom, and the tower collapsed. And we're both, really good at freaking out, my mom and I. We're really good at it. and then the second tower fell. And that was a horrible, God, that was a horrible time. My employer's sister was a flight attendant. Yeah. And we weren't able to figure out where she was, and I loved her dearly. She was such a sweetheart. She was so kind to me. We shared a room together. Where was it? Cape Cod or Montauk, or I don't remember where. Somewhere we had went for a vacation with the family, and her and I shared a room, and I got to know her, and she was just delightful. But she was a flight attendant. I believe it was with American Airlines, and it was, American Airlines planes that had, been hijacked, and no one knew because she was on a flight that had the same route as one of the ones that was hijacked. Yeah. And you couldn't get in touch. And once people realized, oh God, this is serious stuff, something's really going on, then, they were trying to get a hold of her, couldn't get a hold of her. Yeah. So we didn't know till at least the next day if this sister, their aunt, if she had, been on one of those planes. We didn't know. She ended up being okay, and that was good. But that was a horrific, oh God, that was a horrible time. And I don't talk about it often, not with the kids, not with you guys, but sometimes it comes up. What are you going to do? So that was a horrible time. And then eventually the parents came home. They were late getting home because they didn't work in New York City. They worked in like Bridgeport and other, places there in Connecticut, big city situations there. And they got home late, and the other kids had already come home. Oh, thank you, Dennis. Oh, that's sweet. I think. I'll take it as a compliment. I'm interesting. But the bus had brought the kids home, and the grandma, she stayed. And I mostly stayed downstairs in my room, hidden away from it all because they didn't want me around the kids, to be honest. And that was fair. Their goal was to keep the kids calm, not freak the kids out with what was going on. But then that evening, there was a candlelight vigil in the neighborhood. And I don't think, really, guys, I lived in an area where everybody or family members of people in my area or just people in my area themselves commuted to the city, to New York. And so it was a terrifying time right there because, like I said, there was no transportation, very limited phone service. And so people didn't know till the next day, the day after that, some up to a week, if their family members were alive or not. Yeah. So a funny story, I go to this candlelight vigil around the block. Well, not really a block. They weren't built up. Like I said, the neighborhoods there were hacked out of the woods. Okay. There weren't blocks. Here in Utah, that's all you have. It's very, very structured in a grid. It's all blocks and grids here. But not there. It's all windy, kind of roads hacked out of the woods by whoever settled it, right? Sorry, the internet is being funny, which normally it's not. Normally it's pretty good these days since we got the fiber internet. But anyway, obviously it's struggling, so apologies. But and we're almost done anyway because I gotta pee. But so I go down to this other part of the neighborhood with these other people, and we have this candlelight vigil. But the funny part of it, none of the rest of it's funny. It was a beautiful little service. Someone had written a poem. There were prayers in different languages, different varieties of prayers. You had Jewish people there. You had Christian people. You had all different things. I was Christian at the time. I was a Mormon, and so a Mormon flavor of Christianity. Renee, have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you. So the only candle I had was one that my nanny kids' cousin had given me. His mom worked for Bath and Body Works or one of the candle companies. I don't remember who, and had brought me a whole box of candles because he had a crush on me. He knew I was hot stuff at the time, guys. I was a mess mentally, but I was hot stuff. And he had a crush on me. Several of the cousins had crushes on me. And he had brought me this whole box of candles because his mom worked for, the corporate part of one of those candle companies. Anyway, so the only candles I had generally, and I had never been to a candlelight vigil. I had never been to one of those before. All right. I'm 19 or 20, probably 20 at the time. And I've never been to anything like this. So I didn't know that you're supposed to get like a regular candle, and they put like a piece of paper on it, and that way the wax, and that's what most people had. Oh, I don't know where they were getting them. I don't know where people were getting their candles, but I didn't have any of those. So what did I bring? I brought a jar candle. It was like a purple lilac. I'm not kidding. It's 9/11. It's the day of 9/11. I'm in Connecticut. I'm in Hartford County. In this neighborhood of people that don't know if their family's dead or alive. They're singing songs, they're writing poems, they're saying prayers, and here I come with this jar candle of like purple lilac. Okay. If you can't laugh about stuff, I mean, what can you do? You can cry, but that's messy. And so here I come. And yeah, some people kind of looked at it, and I'm like, hey, so-and-so gave it to me. They all know him. His family's in the area. And, oh yeah, so-and-so, she works for thing. And I'm like, hey, he gave me all these candles. This is what I've got. What are you going to do? This is what I've got. If you ever notice certain inflections and isms and tones and accents coming out, it's from when I lived there, okay? I spent a lot of time in Hartford, in Connecticut, in New York, in Boston, and that stuff, especially when I'm reliving that, a lot of that comes out. So just hope you bear with me. But so anyhow, I have this candle. Someone lights it for me, and everyone's got their little, what are those called? Oh God, I can't even think of the word. The types of candles. This is gonna drive me crazy. They're not pillar candles. They're not votives. What the hell are they called? What are they called? Those candles. Candles. Let's see. I'm looking it up. I've got this right here. What are they called? Tapers. Thank you. Frugal Living. Shelly, thank you. Taper candles. They've all got their taper candles with the little pieces of paper or plastic around them. Okay. And here I am with my pillar candle. Not pillar. Well, it is essentially a pillar candle, but a glass jar, my lilac candle. That's so crazy. I ended up having most of those candles because he had given them to me shortly before I was going to be going home, and I wasn't going to waste, Dixie cups. A lot of people had like Dixie cups. I didn't have any of that stuff, but it was so many great candles. I ended up shipping them home. I took them like to the UPS store or whatever it was, and I had them shipped home for me, these candles, because there were so many of them, and I wanted to keep them. But so I'm there, and we're all crying, and somebody had boxes of tissues, and we're out there for a long time. People are out there praying and kinds of prayers and things that I've never seen before. It's interesting. I grew up with a Mormon influence and a Catholic influence. Those are because I grew up in Northern California, then came to Utah as a teenager. And so the influences I got were, Christianity, there was a lot of Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses, and then Mormons, and then Catholics, and then Native Americans with their own thing. And that's what I grew up around, and then came to Utah, and you're just surrounded by Mormons. So I hadn't been exposed to some of these other things, to, Jewish, what do you even call it? Not ceremonies, but whatever. Anyway, these different kinds of prayers and it was a really amazing experience to be exposed to so much of this other stuff. And these, Orthodox things and Orthodox Christians and stuff I'd never been exposed to. It was really interesting. So we're there. I'm there with my jar candle. Everybody's crying. This woman had written the most beautiful poem. I still wish to this day, 20 years later, I wish that I had a copy of that poem that she wrote. It was amazing. Barbara, I've been there and done that. Barbara says, I live in Connecticut, and that is funny. Yeah, it's you. So you know Connecticut. Okay, it was a devastating time, absolutely. But she says if you can visit the memorial in New York City, do it. I did. Olivia and I, you guys know I do a one-on-one trip every year in rotation with my 3 children. And the first year, I took Reagan to Mexico, and he got to experience some of my heritage, which is his heritage, and we had an amazing time. And we were with family and stuff, in Mexico. And then the next year, it was Olivia's turn. And we went to New York City for a week. Yeah, a whole week. Boy, did we have a time. Yeah. We also went up to Sleepy Hollow, but we did New York City. We the Empire State Building, Central Park, we had a lunch it was for Olivia. She was 11. She turned 11 the day we got there. And so we went to the American Girl flagship store. It was still on 5th Avenue at the time. And we had lunch with the dolls and everything. It was amazing. So yeah, we did, rode the subway, got lost all over the place, stayed at the Hilton right across from the memorial and what's it called? Building 1. What is it called? God. World Trade 1. Yeah, we were right across from all of that. So anyway, amazing experience. We did go to the memorial. It was a little different for Olivia. She was only 11, so she understood that it was a somber place, but she was 11, but for me, it was God, that was a very big experience, so we went in the museum, and I have several videos on here, Barbara, several videos that I've just recently republished because I hadn't realized that there were so many that after that second time we got hacked on this channel, there were so many videos, so many, took me hours, so many videos that were still set to private that had been recovered twice from getting hacked that I had never republished. And so I went through, a week or 2 ago and republished all those, including a whole bunch of videos from that trip to New York, including at the memorial. Yeah, we went to the reflection pools and went around and read names. And that was an amazing, painful experience. We also went to Coney Island. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a big memorial there too. Because the first responders, firefighters, and law enforcement and stuff, they came from all different parts of like the tri-state area. Okay. They weren't just New York cops. They weren't just New York firefighters and first responders. No, they came from all over. They came on ferries, across the Hudson and the this and the that. And so there were a lot of folks. Well, and not only that, but there's people, not just first responders, but like I was saying, most people would commute into the city. So all the residential areas around had people that were affected, and especially with the first responders. And so there on Coney Island, it was a baseball place, maybe. What was it? I can't remember where it was exactly that we were, but we were there on Coney Island, and we had, been swimming and doing all kinds of things. But we also explored the neighborhood, and there was this amazing memorial of all the first responders from that area who had perished. And there's video of that. You just have to scroll. I mean, you got to scroll, okay? Because that was 2017, which was actually our first year on YouTube, was 2017. I was a nanny for a little less than 2 years, Rose. Little less than 2 years there in Connecticut. And I should have stayed longer. There's a lot to that I'll talk about someday. I didn't leave on good terms because of some situations that I will forever feel guilty about, especially as a mother. But I kind of left them in the lurch. The other nanny that came to replace me was, I don't know. I wish I would have stayed for so many reasons. I probably could have avoided my first marriage if I would have just stayed as a nanny, but I missed my family, hi Kaza. My first nephew was born during that time. My dad's health started declining during that time. And I just felt like I was missing out on, my family and everything. And I wanted to go home. But I truly wish I would have stayed longer as a nanny. I truly wish I would have, or at least that I would have left on better terms. Sometimes I just have to keep my big mouth shut, and I wasn't very good at it at the time. Anyway, lots of stuff, but not to talk about here. We'll talk about that like on the Grown Up channel sometime. But anyhow, yeah, so a little less than 2 years I was out there, and that was a crazy time. But if you scroll, I mean, way back in our log of videos, because we have so many videos, holy cow. And there's a bunch that I still haven't republished because I just don't feel like they're ones I want to republish or that, you know, anyone would be interested in. But I did republish the videos from when Olivia and I went to New York. And we had an amazing time. We got lost. We did some silly stuff and there were some adventures, but we stayed in this beautiful hotel. You know, it just, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. It was a painful thing. But we went to the memorials and the museum and the reflection pools and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't only do Disneyland and Disney with my kids. I was talking about this on the video that I put up this morning on my Grown Up channel. People are like, why do you only do Disney? It's only Disney. Why don't you take your kids anywhere else? Well, I do, and I have, and I did. The only Disney has just been because of the pandemic. I don't know if you guys realize that. But before, yeah, we were going everywhere. You know, as a family, we were hitting up all the national parks. We've traveled and gone lots of other places. And then my one-on-one trips with the kids, we weren't going to Disney for those. You know, it was Mexico, then it was New York, then it was Seattle. But then it was Olivia's turn again, and we were supposed to go to San Francisco. But the pandemic hit, everything shut down, nothing was open, you know. And so finally, we decided, well, let's go to Disney World, because they had reopened and that was the only place to go. So we went. And then since then, it was like, well, Olivia's been, well, and Reagan, I had brought him to Florida on a one-on-one trip also, but we didn't go to Disney World. We went to Legoland, we went to Gatorland, we went to Daytona, we went to the Ponce de Leon Memorial and Lighthouse. Not just Disney, okay? But then it comes to be Olivia's turn again, nothing's open, so we end up going to Disney World. Well, then what happens? My other two kids are like, she's been to Disney World, we haven't been to Disney World. Oh, okay, so, and then of course, the pandemic continues, you know, and there's nowhere else you can go. Everything's shut down, it's closed. The only places are Disney World. So it only made sense, okay, well, that's where we're gonna go. And so that's where we've gone these last 3 one-on-one trips. You know, it's Carolyn, it's good genes. It's good genes. Yeah, but thank you. I'll tell her that, she'll love that. But she's talking about my mommy. Anyway, we just ended up going to Disney every 3 to 4 months for the past couple of years. But folks, it's been during the pandemic. There's nowhere else to go. And then what we realized is, well, that's what the kids enjoy. They don't want to go to Gettysburg, okay? They're not going to get the gravity of that kind of situation. They're not going to get that. They're not going to understand that. They're not going to feel that, okay? But we've taken them to all the national parks and we've taken them to state parks and we go camping and, you know, we do road trips. We've been to Hoover Dam, you know, all these other places. They love the ocean. They love the beach. They don't care yet at their young age about things that aren't colorful, glittery, and fun. They don't care. When they're older, I would love to take them to some places that they will properly understand and appreciate, you know, museums, sites of historic note. But while they're young and they're kids, Disney World. Disney World. That's what we do, okay? I want to do a whole video about that, explaining that in depth for the folks that haven't been with us before the pandemic and don't realize that it hasn't been just Disney. I didn't take my kids to Disney for the first time till 2018 when I graduated from college. That's what it is. We weren't doing that before then. I hadn't been to Disneyland since I was graduated from high school and went with my mom to Disneyland. We weren't going all the time. We couldn't afford to go all the time. And we were focused on getting my education finished. And Disney was our thing that we knew was our reward. And that's when we went the first time. And then we weren't planning to go again. I mean, we went again a couple times. I went with my sister for Oogie Boogie. We took the kids again one time with my sister. But it wasn't going to be the only thing we were doing, the only place we were going, except that COVID happened. And that's all we could do. And we needed to get out and have magic. You know, it became a thing that was just the reality. So, but we have some other stuff planned. I talked about this on the video this morning, but I recorded it last night. But the video on the Grown Up channel, I'm planning a trip to to England next year to do the gardens. We'll see if it happens. That's my hope. And then also next year for our anniversary, not this year, it's too soon. We got to save up money. But next year for our anniversary, I want to go do this tour of the Great Lakes with my husband. No Disney at all in that. There's no Disney there because my husband doesn't care for Disney. He came with us to Disneyland when I graduated, and that was it. And that was just because of public pressure. He actually wasn't going to go. I had it set up. I was going to go with my sister. Ended up my sister came too because we already had it set up. And my husband kind of, he bent with the public pressure and, didn't want to look like a schmuck by not coming to Disneyland when, it was celebrating my graduation from college. I know I talk a mile a minute. I'm half Mexican. It is what it is. Okay. And I'm in a good mood and I really need to pee. So, but anyhow, we're going to go to the Great Lakes. We're going to go to Mackinac Island. Are you kidding me? Somewhere in time. Come on now. We're going to stay at the hotel. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go on a train. I believe it's Amtrak. We're going to also go on this like motor coach tour. All these beautiful things. We're going to ride in a freaking Model T, a Ford Model T. We're going to do all this stuff. You see my kitty? Look at that. I told you guys, she's taken over that red chair and we let her tear that chair apart. It's a roadside salvage. I've had it for over a decade. And that keeps her from scratching at the new couch. Yeah, James bought a sofa to match the other one, so everyone has a place to sit down now. But we let the kitty take over that couch. You guys said you missed Furnicus in the last family vlog video, Summer of Fun video on the family vlog channel, Frugal Family Flies Again. But there you go. You got to see Furnicus scratching on that chair. That's her place now. That's her thing. And I figure we'll let her have it for another month or two. And then we'll get rid of it. But anyway, we're gonna go to the Great Lakes. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited. And that's a tour. That's all planned out. But I think while we're there, might as well hit a couple of spots in the Midwest. That tour, it's like a week. But I figure if we take 2 weeks, we can do that. We can also maybe go to some baseball games. My husband might want to go do that. Wisconsin, all that's, part of it. Green Bay, maybe we'll go hit up some football games. Bájate, gatita, bájate. Bájate de la mesa, bájate. Thank you. Goddamn cat. Sorry. She knows she's not supposed to get on the table. And if you didn't know, she speaks Spanish, okay? She does. It is what it is. My dad, rest in peace, I think he sent her to me. Gatita, bájate, bájate de la mesa. Now, get off. Reagan, come get this cat out of here. She's being so naughty. She wants to go outside. That's the thing. When she wants to go outside and no one's opening the door, she starts doing really naughty stuff. She'll get on the counter. She'll get on the table. She'll start scratching at the new couch. And that's her saying, let me out. No, Mimi, go open the back door. She just wants out. Let her out.
Stop being naughty.
Yeah, let her out. She just wants out. She's noisy. She wants out. Anyway, we're going to do the Great Lakes. I'm about to pee my pants. I got to go. We're well over 2 hours into this live stream. I have had the best time with you guys. I have had the absolute best time. But I'm going to go pee. We're going to get some chores done. I might even live stream again later because this has been so damn fun to me. I've had a great time. I'm having a wonderful time with you. I haven't even thought about my foot being in pain or any of my frustrations because I've been with you guys.
She doesn't even want to go
She doesn't even want to go out. What is your problem, gatita? ¿Qué tienes? Huh? Maldita. Sorry. She understands, okay? She gets it. It is what it is. I love you guys. I have had the best time today. This might be my favorite live stream we've ever had. I have just had so damn much fun. Anyway, so maybe we'll live stream again later. I don't know. I haven't even brushed my teeth. There's a confession. I haven't even brushed my teeth. But I have had coffee and I have a bra on. So, I call that success. I call that success. You guys are great. I adore you. I love you. And I'll see you all real soon. Maybe later today, maybe not. But, stick around and you'll find out. Okay? Okay, bye. Gatita!